The first time I met Shafik was on the day of the swearing in of President George W. Bush.
I was introduced to him as someone who is a very smart and capable Egyptian businessman.
I knew this was a moral figure.
My name is Shafik Gabr. I'm an Egyptian, born and bred.
Shafik is larger than life.
The most loyal person I've ever met.
He's analytical, he's wise.
A force for good.
A Renaissance man.
A statesman.
And not afraid to say what he thinks to whomever he is talking to.
Really a global citizen.
My father was a Muslim, and my mother was a Christian Copt. I went to the church, and I went to the mosque, and I had a great understanding of both. My late father taught me that nothing was impossible. And when I was just over 16, he called me over to his study, and he said to me, this is your last allowance. Frankly, I thought he was joking. He wasn't by any means. It was my last allowance. Cairo at that time was a city just coming out of a 1967 war. Our infrastructure was in a very difficult situation, and it would take 2-3 minutes to get a dialing tone, but that didn't really mean that we'd make a phone call. I rented 3 bikes, and I started a messaging service across Cairo. 1 year later, I had saved $148, and I got on top of the deck of a ship going to Piraeus, and I hitchhiked for 48 days across Europe. It was an experience I will never forget, one that gave me a whole different perspective.
Keith has this ability to see both sides, but to also see the divide.
You exchange information on Twitter, social media, etc. And the odd thing is that instead of contributing to a greater understanding, more information in an odd way has reduced the level of understanding.
Right now, the world is very dangerous. Again, there's a lot of mistrust with Muslim versus non-Muslim countries.
Shafik understands that if you bring people from different countries, different religions, different backgrounds together and give them an opportunity to talk to one another, get to know one another, the odds are great that their relationships are going to be better.
He was one of the first people to see that you're not going to create long-term peace or security unless there is a sense of partnership, platforms for dialogue created, and a belief that in the end, the more connected we are, then the more peaceful and secure the world will be.
When he describes Egyptian life to Americans, or for that matter, when he describes American life to Egyptians, he's trying to cross a divide, serve as a bridge, but one of the reasons he can do that is that he listens so well.
I have been inspired by 19th century Orientalist traveler painters. They did not travel to conquer, they did not have any interest in oil, but they traveled to discover and communicate, but with understanding.
His artwork and his collection of art is a way to really study history.
Inspired by these painters, I said, why not focus on young emerging leaders from different parts of the world and give them the opportunity to get to know each other, to get to know their communities, to get to know the politics of their countries.
There is a young generation in Egypt that has already demonstrated to the world just how powerful they can be when they act collectively.
When Egypt was in upheaval and there was enormous uncertainty, instead of surrendering to it, Shafik decided to do something that hadn't been done before.
It's not just his brilliant analysis, but rather the way he sees the small practical steps that are making difference in this world.
Through his East-West dialogue, he has brought together those in early to mid careers who are truly the cream of the crop.
They will come to the United States and not just visit the large cities, but they'll also have a retreat in mid-America, get to know what America is all about. And then when they come to Egypt, it will be the same thing.
I do think you need to have that first-person experience. I think you need to go there. I think you need to actually interact with people face to face.
I was shocked and surprised by how people see Egypt. Someone asked me once if I raise crocodiles in my house or if I eat snakes.
If you do get the chance to meet someone in person, you really get to see them as an individual, as their own lives and their own
their own dreams for their children, for their communities.
Other people have thought about people-to-people exchanges, but very few businessmen have said, I will do it, I will make it happen on my own time, my own dime.
Mr. Gabr believes in us. Sometimes I feel like he believes in me more than I believe in myself. So that gives me more courage and more inspiration to be a better person, to meet his expectations.
The first class went beyond my expectations. Not only did they work together, but above all, they are doing collaborative projects even after the exchange.
My prediction, out of the Gabr Fellows program, those people would never have gotten together. Those friends will change the world.
All of us as members of civil society have a responsibility to play our part.
In such troubled times, you can't actually say things are better. But I can say with absolute certainty, if not for Shafik, things would be worse.
We are tempted sometimes on a gray, overcast day to feel gloomy about the future of mankind. And then you meet somebody like Shafik and you say, you know, our species is actually a little better than I thought.
No one on the face of this earth plays the role that Shafik does of bringing people, business leaders, cultural leaders, art leaders, education leaders, government leaders together as Shafik does.
Let me seize this opportunity to congratulate Shafik Gabr.
Congratulations.
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 Many congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
مبروك يا شفيق.
Oh, Shafik, words cannot express how very proud I am of you. So congratulations, and I love you very much.
Congratulations, Dad.